take the Lulu away from Alchemist. They think that that was a big problem. I do agree.
I agree.
I think that basically saved a lot of team fights that could have gone well in favor of Paria. They were on this point. Imagine they were scales. They were on the point of that the Lulu Ultimate was just balancing them in favor of Choke Gaming. But had that Lulu Ultimate not been there, they would have been able to pick off Callista a number of times more easily, been able to snowball those resets and probably win the game from there.
I think, I mean, like a perfect example of that was that final team fight.
Yeah.
You saw Nocturnal Plex, he got down to what, 200 HP? Then the Wild Growth came through, then the shields, then the Whimsy, just everything pulling him to safety and keeping him alive. And actually, the next ban we're going to see is going to be that Scurvy Dog Gangplank from that top lane.
We saw Tundra go absolutely off with that in the FME Sports Best of 3. He was a monster. And I wouldn't put it past Flash to be able to play a very, very, very good Gangplank. They're going to ban Elise. That means the Kench is still available. Will they ban it? Will they want to deny that from Paria? Now, it depends if they think Paria play that. They're going to ban Fiora. I think it's a very good ban here. Now with the first pick going over to the side of Paria. So this is going to be...
Do they pick it up? That's the question. Are they going to first pick Tahm Kench? It seems like an overkill first pick, and it's actually going to be Mordekaiser locked in for the first pick of the game. So Mordekaiser AD carry coming through.
Wow.
We've seen it once today. Wasn't massively successful.
Maybe runs a little bit more of the all-in composition that we've seen. Paria been on the very cusp of winning, but I actually think Pug was really strong with that Tristana. I think he was one of the only saving graces from their team. He was doing some serious damage. They're potentially going to take away the Katarina here. No, they're going to go for the Braum, so we're not going to see the Kench coming through for Hado in this game. I like the Braum. It was the same support that they picked up for FM against when TCA picked up the Mordekaiser. It allows you to lock down that Mordekaiser quite effectively. Going to have to see what Plex decides to play. I'm not sure he plays a lot of Vayne, but considering he was, he had some really decent mechanics on that Callista, I wouldn't be surprised to see yet another Callista.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest, and it works fantastically with Braum. You can throw that massive, massive bloke into the enemy team, and then he'll be able to follow up with the extra knock-up from the Glacial Fissure. I'm being pinged out by the Hado for some reason, spamming me in the client. But we are going to see another Lee Sin locked in for Nemesis. Oh, and a Blitzcrank going to be locked in from I'm Best Support.
So they're looking to either go, I'm guessing it's going to be Blitzcrank Mordekaiser bot lane. We have seen some crazy things in the past where you've seen Blitzcrank go mid or top. Most notably, I think we saw Soaz take Blitzcrank top in one of the games. I think it was last year for Fnatic at some point. But no, I imagine there'll be a very all-in lane in the bot. You pull them towards Mordekaiser, and then you just get that chainsaw harvest of sorrows going on and try and lock people down. I wouldn't be surprised to see Alchemist pick Vigard, because it is something that he has played a lot of.
Yeah, I believe the team out as well is going to be a placeholder, I'm assuming, by the fact that Hado's messaged me.
We'll find out very shortly what that is after we get through this pick and ban phase. But Alchemist on the Xerath, that's something that he was notably famed for, especially during the Four Nations. And to be honest, I think that's a really solid pickup for him. I think him going on that comfort champion, no, he's actually going to swap to Nah. But him on a comfort champion like Xerath could be really strong. And Plex, he said, have you seen my Lucian before the game? Well, now we're going to see his Lucian. I like the Lucian and the Braum. When the Braum came out, the Lucian-Braum combo was probably the most...
The double shot.
Yeah, the double shot onto the Winter's Bite. And just ridiculous ability to proc that passive and get the stuns going down. So I like this coming out from Nocturnal Plex on that Lucian.
Oh my goodness, the insta-lock there, Katarina and Zed. If last game was an all-in composition, then this one just blows that one out of the water. But look how much AD is going to be coming out here right here. We've got a Zed mid, we've got I mean, I'm assuming that they go AD Katarina top right now. Honestly, I feel like AP Katarina top is going to be a better call for them.
Well, it really depends, because AP Katarina top, you just... I do like the fact that, it'll split damage, but I think he'll have a more tough time.
Difficult lane.
Yeah, he'll have a more difficult time than he already had. He went Triforce, which makes him just that little bit more durable in engages with Dumbo in the top lane on that Nah. But I think if he chooses to go AP, I think he'll have a real tough time, because Nah could very easily go Hex Drinker, and that'll actually manage to punish him in lane. And this is Alchemist's basically biggest comfort pick. He's going to go for the Lux. They're looking to just get AoE control team fights down, and Alchemist on the Lux is something that you have to see it because it is incredible. He's very good at roaming. His lasers are always on point. He can affect every single lane by moving about 5 meters out of his own with those lasers. So yeah, this is basically very similar compositions coming through here, but they've got more of a double threat coming through from Choke this time. They don't have that Lulu, so the all-ins are going to be a little bit more effective now coming in from Paria.
One thing I want to say, like, about the Paria lineup right now, we keep on harping on about how they are this solo queue squad. That's kind of the name that they've coined. If you go into solo queue and you see this lineup, you are terrified.
You're
like, one of us dies for first blood, we lose the game.
You look at this and you're like, that guy's a Katarina main. I hate Katarina mains. Oh no, Zeds are always really good. Yeah,
oh no, Lee Sin jungle. Oh no, Mordekaiser Blitz.
This is like solo queue terror picks coming out here from Paria. But you know, like we said, this is again a very all-in composition. If someone gets hooked, they are going to last less than a second.
This is the epitome of an all-in composition right here. I mean,
it hinges a lot on them getting ahead, but we saw that they actually fared pretty well up until that point in the game. There isn't going to be a tank again. I guess Mordekaiser kind of tanky, likely to go Triforce into Ryalize, but there isn't going to be a flat-out resistance-based tank again.
Blitzcrank to an extent, but not anything.
But not anything too crazy. So this is interesting. I love this really hardcore all-in composition that we've seen from Paria, and again, second game in a row. They knew they had success with it last game, just wasn't quite enough. Get rid of the Lulu. There isn't that backup plan should someone get caught, and got to give it to Nocturnal. He did get caught a lot. You're less likely to get caught by a charm, but maybe he's more likely to get caught by a hook. So that's more devastating than charm, really, because it completely isolates you. So Plex is going to have to be on his game,
especially if you can stack up those Mordekaiser auto attacks.
Yeah.
If you can get that third one ready and then the grab comes through, smash onto Lucian's head. Goodbye, Nocturnal Plex.
Yeah, I have to be worried. And also, Alchemist, very low mobility mid laner. Should I'm best support roam on this Blitzcrank, he can try to put pressure down with Cutie Bacon Piggy in this mid lane. And Alchemist, he's quite a passive mid laner in most regards. So he's probably going to be looking to sit this one out in the mid lane, not looking to make anything happen with anything, you know, too flashy, essentially. You know, Lux inherently is a flashy champion. But he's taken that barrier, which, you know, spells that he knows that he's going to be in trouble post-6, and he just wants to play as safe as possible. Double shield, try and negate as much damage as possible. Not going to take the heal because he knows it'll be less effective against the Ignite. And Dong's on Rek'Sai, again, going to have to look to make an impact. But he is going up against Nemesis on this Lee Sin. Nemesis was incredibly snowbally in the early portion of the game, was 3-0, I think, by about 6 minutes. So both of these compositions, I think we're going to basically see a rematch of last game. A little bit more all-in from Paria, a little bit less defensive from Choke. So in theory, that would favor Paria. But as I've said with Mordekaiser lanes, you have to win them for Mordekaiser to become effective, or you just have to starve your opponent of farm and try and just beat them in pure XP value, because that's what Mordekaiser can do. Obviously, he gets full XP from that Harvest of Sorrows.
I think one thing as well is we're going to see Paria wanting to group up, wanting to go for these team fights. If they get in a bad spot and Dumbo can capitalize with an awesome ultimate, if they then get the follow-up from the Glacial Fissure, from that Braum, with a laser from Alchemist, if he's farmed up, that is not a combo to be sniffed at. That will blow them apart.
It is a huge combo again. It's basically the laser is going to be a more powerful Glitter Lance from last game, obviously on a higher cooldown and more burst. But Nah into Rek'Sai on Burrow, into laser, into the Braum ultimate. That's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it turns out the message from Hado, it was not a counter pick. It was just flaming us casters. It's Hado, not Hado, apparently. Deeply apologise.
I was always saying Hado.
You weren't. You said Hado. I was always saying Hado.
Oh, really?
I'm going to blame you. This is all your fault.
This is all my fault. Well, everything's always my fault, so don't worry.
It's true. It's true. But anyway, we are going to be heading onto Summoner's Rift for our 4th match of the day. Potentially our final match of the day if Team Paria can't manage to pull a win out of the bag. Now, out of our bottom 4 teams, Paria are the only ones to be able to get a win on the board. They managed to get a 1-2 scoreline up against Exertis Esports. We'll see if they're going to be able to get a second win on the board for themselves up against Choke Gaming. But so far, the Choke Sharks are 1-0 up in this series. They are 5-0 in games overall, and they're looking incredibly strong right now. I'm pretty sure they smell blood.
Yeah, Paria have got a huge mountain to climb. They've obviously got to win 2 games on the trot. If Choke get caught out by this all-in competition, especially with the Mordekaiser, I imagine Mordekaiser will just be banned next game, and then Paria have to go back to the drawing board, try and figure out another composition that will work. But I'm looking forward to this. Again, it's something that I was excited to see TCA bring out. I love seeing something interesting in this bot lane like a Mordekaiser, so we'll see.
Yeah, and instantly we see already some different kind of tactics coming out from both teams. We see a 4-man stack up in the top lane, and at the same time we see the 5-man stack down on this bottom half of the map. And when you've got the Blitzcrank, when you're playing as a solo queue squad, why not go for the engage? It's pretty much the perfect champion.
You definitely want to go for a pull. They go for a blind pull there with Blitzcrank. No one there stacking up, so they're just going to get some wards in.
Yeah, I mean, maybe somebody comes down to start for this Grom. If they can get a good position in the jungle and wait for someone to come and check this Grom.
This area that they're going for the invade in is the most obvious Blitzcrank invade area. Choke were potentially thinking that they would go a little bit against what you'd expect from a solo queue Blitzcrank and going for that top lane invade onto the Krugs. But they are just going to get some deep wards down. I imagine they're going to wait it out, though. They can still make a pick here. They're not going to back out. And maybe they're a little bit worried about Choke going in for an invade of their own. They don't have any vision on their blue side. So it's mind games here at level 1.
It certainly is. And some nice vision coverage of this blue side jungle in Choke's side of the map. But nobody going to go anywhere near those wards for Choke. And nothing Paria going to be able to do to capitalize on that early Blitzcrank pick. And it looks like pretty standard red buff starts here.
This is an intelligent play coming in, I think, from Choke. They know that Blitzcrank is more likely to get something done in the blue side jungle, especially when you're on blue side. So they are simply going to go and start on the red side of buff. You're going to see Hado and Nocturnal Plex starting at the Grom. I believe that ward should just spot them out. And actually, look at the early push coming in from Mordekaiser and Blitzcrank. That is crazy early push coming on right now.
It certainly is. The ward did not spot them out, but I mean, when they don't turn up to lane, it's pretty obvious where they are, and that is going to be pushed straight under the tower, but Plex does not miss a single CS. He arrives just in time, and he's going to be able to grab all of these ones up for himself. So he's going to be very happy with that start. Going to get that level 2 very early on, but against the Mordekaiser, it's not too big of a deal.
No, and actually that's pretty decent. They didn't lose 1 minion from that early push that Mordekaiser and Blitzcrank put down, and actually it's going to force Mordekaiser and Blitzcrank into taking their Krugs, which should get them level 2 as well. But they're a little bit later. They're actually going to lose some lane minions for this. So overall, it's a bit of a win for Choke Gaming in this bot lane.
It certainly is. However, Pug does get solo experience on that big Krug with his W.
It doesn't apply, I think, to neutral minions.
Oh, my bad.
So it only applies to lane minions as far as I'm aware.
I'm completely wrong on that one. I deeply apologize, but best support
I'm not totally sure. I'm not totally sure. You could be right, but I'm pretty sure someone said it doesn't apply to neutral minions. So
I've got to be honest. I'm not a Mordekaiser player myself, so I don't know all of the ins and outs. But a good start, and Pug actually going to get that Winter's Bite. The concussive blows ticking away, and support is going to be locked up. Can they do anything with this one, though? Looks like they're just wanting to go for the trade. Speaking of trades, Hado gets hooked in. He's going to be able to just walk away, though. And support already so low here.
Oh, Dongs, he's just snuck in here. He's going to try and make something happen. Very early gank, level 3. They're going to allow Mordekaiser to push. I think this should spell a little bit. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, here we go indeed. Pug, it's going to have to flash away, but he gets locked up and he's going to go down. That's the first blood going over to Nocturnal Plex. And the sub-in AD carry is doing fantastically for Choke.
It is his 3rd most played solo queue champion, though, so he should be... we should get a replay of that. I'll have a quick look at that. It was just a very easy gank coming in from Plex. It's good because he started from the red side of the jungle, which made his jungle path easy to come down here. Actually misses his Q in borrowed form, but obviously a lot of flashes coming down. They do get the kill there for Nocturnal Plex. This doesn't mean they take Dragon. It's too early in the game to take Dragon, but it does mean it puts pressure onto the Mordekaiser and allows Nocturnal Plex to get some much needed gold. I'm best support getting caught out by Dongs here.
Yeah.
Alchemist looking for a bit of damage.
A moment ago, we saw I'm best support. Oh, the Ignite comes down onto Alchemist. The flash auto attack. Cutie Bacon Piggy. So aggressive. Can he escape? The safeguard shield. It's going to be enough. Dongs with the Prey Seeker. Can he finish him off? No, he can't. He's going to go down. I'm best support picks it up. Cutie Bacon Piggy living on. I mean, I don't even know. He's now on 27 health, so it can't have been much above 1.
Oh, my lord. This is, again, just a complete mess. We saw it in the last game. And in the mid lane, again, is where we saw that crazy solo Q-esque action happening, and it's happening again. Nice early roam from my best support. Gets a kill onto Bacon Piggy. He's already picked up that Brutalizer. That's going to be really tough for Alchemist to deal with now. Alchemist having third. He didn't actually use Barrier. Alchemist did not use Barrier there. That might have potentially saved his life, but Pugs is alone. He's got no flash.
Speaking of lives, Pugs might be on the line right now. Does manage to get a shield out at the very last second, but the hook comes through onto Hado. I'm not sure this is a fight they won though. Pug is so low, having to play this one very safe. Nemesis is hanging around, but take a look at Nemesis' health bar. This is, I mean, this fight will be down to the wire. Cutie Baker Piggy in the meantime escaping a gank from Dongs right now, but I'm best support. He's going to look for the rocket grab, but it's not going to connect.
Yeah, Lee Sin just going to back off here. Pugs has got the sustain through that Relic Shield. Also, he's going to get a bit of that health back every time he procs that Harvest of Sorrows. And yeah, Nemesis is just going to back off here. Another roam coming out from I'm best support. He will get locked up by a pink ward, so they know that he is there. He's actually going to walk fast and take that out. Actually, no, he doesn't miss it. Does he miss it?
Maybe.
It looks like
I think he's... I don't really know.
I think he missed it.
Maybe feigning that he wants to go for deep vision and maybe hoping someone comes to check him, I don't know. But up in the top lane, we do see a dive coming out. And that's going to be a kill into the hands of Dongs.
I like this sort of mini freeze coming down. They are going to be able to freeze the lane completely effectively. The only problem with the roams coming out from I'm best support is Mordekaiser by himself is practically useless. You need a champion to use that Harvest of Sorrows on. And again, I'm best support trying to make that play. He stayed there for a very long time. He is only level 4. And Alchemist is not going to fall for that trick.
Love it by I'm best support. Misses the hook and uses the Master Emote. Beautiful stuff.
He actually still hasn't cleared that pink ward. He did just walk through that twice and missed it.
He was just looking at his minimap, I guess. But unfortunate stuff from him. Pug trying to wait for the proc on his Relic Shield, but not quite going to get it. Best support going to be able to take away that cannon minion. And that's going to be able to get Blitzcrank back down into this bottom lane to share that XP again. He is a little bit behind Hado, already level 5. But we'll see if they're going to be able to catch that one up as we head further on into the game. We do see Dongs hanging around this top lane once again. They already got 1 kill there onto the Katarina. Looks like they're not going to be able to do the same. And actually, it's going to be AD carry again. AD Katarina, sorry.
Oh, the pull onto Nocturnal Plex in the bot lane.
Yeah, there certainly is. He's going to have to dash away from that one. But it's going to be support locked up. The double shot, the Light Slinger not quite going to come through as Pug looking to keep on throwing damage onto that Lucian. But both teams end up backing away. And this has kind of been the story of this game so far. Teams both looking to try and make these aggressive plays, but not quite able to finish it out.
Yeah, so Mordekaiser, they're going for another pull here. They want Nocturnal Plex. He dodges away, and I'm best support gets away with a sliver of life.
I love how aggressive I'm best support Blitzcrank is.
It's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely ridiculous. Interesting leveling path here coming out for Pug. He's going for that Siphon of Destruction. He's leveling that first. Now, there's a couple of build paths that... Oh, the Gnar ultimate misses in the top lane. There's a couple of build paths that you can run with Mordekaiser. You can actually level the Harvest of Sorrows. And actually, we're going to have a quick look at the community vote. It's 60% in favor of Choke Gaming. So Paria definitely have a little bit more support than TCA did. But they're not looking in the best position right now. Look at I'm best support. He's now in the top lane.
Charging on through that river. Can't quite land that rocket grab, though. And actually, Dongs having to go with the double burrow over to safety.
They know that Pugs is alone.
They certainly do, and we'll see if Pugs goes out for the farm. He is going to, and this could be disastrous. The exhaust immediately, the flash follows up though, and there's the knockup from Hado. They have a lot of damage. Is it going to be enough damage? That's the question. The shields coming out from Pug are going to be enough to keep him alive.
Yeah, he can't heal up because there's no one to use Harvest of Sorrows with. So he's just going to have to try and farm this under turret. But look how low Plex is on mana and health. There's no way they're going to be able to capitalize on that engage. But it does put pressure down on Mordekaiser again. And I like the roams coming out for I'm Best support, but the benefit of Mordekaiser is that you combo really well with an aggressive support in lane, and actually you just get a pure experience advantage by being a duo lane, and that means you can be more aggressive. At the moment, you're just basically giving Nocturnal Plex and Hado a free lane, and meaning that the Mordekaiser isn't doing the job that he needs to do. He has just hit level 7 because of all the solo experience, but even with someone in lane, you get the equivalent of solo experience.
Certainly do, and I mean, so far, not going fantastically on that Mordekaiser. As you say, with all of these roams coming out from I'm Best support, we actually see a 15 CS lead starting to build up in favor of Nocturnal Plex. However, in the mid lane, we see a similarly 20 CS in favor of Cutie Bacon Piggy.
Yeah, really tough lane for Alchemist, like we said. Luckily, he hasn't been exploited too much. Oh, aggressive. I like that. Here comes I'm Best support. He's flashed in.
Yeah, interesting flash coming out there, and actually, it's going to be punished. There's the laser. It doesn't quite connect, though, as Dongs is in a lot of trouble. The death mark comes down. Is it going to be enough damage? Doesn't look like it.
Oh!
But there's Nemesis. He can't get the Dragon Rage off. He ends up going down, and now Alchemist flashes forward for the kill on I'm Best support. Pariah making the plays, but it's all going wrong for them. And now Flash going in. 1 versus 3. He's knocked up. He's CC'd up, and he's going down.
Oh, and Dong just gets away.
Oh
my word.
Cutie Bacon Piggy, though, jumps back to his shadow, makes a play onto Alchemist. Can he walk away with this one? Looks like he might just be able to.
Hado gets
but Hado, with the base damage, takes him out.
We were going to have a rip. Let's have a look how much we can get here. Alchemist, look at that. The light binding came through, and Alchemist took a ton of damage from a brilliant shadow. Knock up onto I'm Best support because he just flashed. The laser misses. Now, this is really important. I'm Best support is out of the fight right here. But look at Hado. Look at how important this Q is coming out from Hado. He manages to get the Q onto Nemesis, which allows him to get the kill. And I'm Best support then goes down because he's still sticking around for some reason. If you look at live, though, something's going crazy down in the bot lane.
It certainly is. The Hado in a lot of trouble if we bring up the live feed. Once again, Nocturnal Plex going to get kicked away, but there's the Sonic Wave to finish him off. Dumbo did get the kill onto I'm Best support, though, and now Flash trying to finish off that Gnar, but he's not really going to be able to find his target. Nemesis is so aggressive onto Dongs, who has to just burrow away. The Cinderhulk is going to proc that dragon, and that actually knocks him to safety.
Yeah, I mean, right now, there wasn't all these small skirmishes. They're basically classic solo queue. You're not getting anything from them. No one could commit to Dragon because they're not decisive enough. That mid lane fight was extended enough that everyone that was important had come back off, and they just couldn't even capitalize on a tower with it because it was just so even between the two teams. But right now, again, another small advantage starting to eke out, and Dongs is going huge on this Rex side right now. 4-1-3, picks up a kill onto Pug, who was left alone in that bot lane, and that is the weakness of Mordekaiser. You leave him alone for a second, he is extremely vulnerable.
He certainly is. Obviously, a lot of your abilities rely on having that support, and so far, I'm Best support has just been roaming this entire game, and now he's going to be punished just for that. Gets knocked up, gets locked up by those concussive blows. He's going to be slowed down, and he's going to be going down, or is he? As Dongs gets caught up, the prismatic barrier keeping the Rek'Sai alive, but it's not enough as Cutie Bacon Piggy jumps back to his shadow and walks away from the fight. Now Nemesis, the Hado looking to get the stun down, but he's not going to be able to find him.
What can they make happen from here? Flash is on the side. He's looking for a hook. He gets killed by the ultimate from Lucian, so Flash is never going to come into a fight that will actually, unfortunately, not be in their favor. And they still can't make anything happen from it. The jungler died, so they can't commit to Dragon. They can't take mid lane turret because too many people are there to prevent the siege. And Mordekaiser, again, is in the bot lane pushing. These are just skirmishes for the sake of skirmishes. They aren't able to make anything happen from them.
No, you're certainly right on that one.
But they do get the top lane turret. Which has absolutely nothing to do with that mid lane fight. Maybe because
it's actually the other team getting it.
Maybe because Flash committed to that mid lane looking for a pick if they went for the engage, but that allowed Dumbo some free time to auto attack the turret. So in the long run of things, Choke come out ahead. And this is again the position that I think Paria found themselves in last game after that early surge.
Yeah. Oh, I'm Best support going to be looking for the rocket grab once again. Does find Hado, but again, not really the best target for them to find. They kind of want to be on Plex if they can grab him. Pug going to be hit by that Winter's Bite, but not really going to be too much coming from this one. I'm Best support again looking for the grab. Nemesis was hanging around, but they're not going to be able to find it.
Yeah, it looks like Nemesis is on a ward, so they know that he's there. They aren't going to commit to anything here unless he stays there.
Flash in a whole lot of trouble. I think he just DC'd there. He was stood still for quite a long time. The pause is going to come out, but it might just be a little bit too late there. He's on about 10 HP.
Yeah, they already committed there for that, and it's difficult to tell sometimes when someone has disconnected or not. But oh, we're back into the game actually already, and Dumbo does get that kill. Doesn't look like he disconnected actually.
Yeah, not 100% sure what happened there. He does end up going down though. So bad news for Flash, 0-4. This AD Katarina really not working out for them.
It's not been the best of picks last game. It's not been the best of picks this game. Dong's committing quite hard to this turret. I don't think he's going to have the tanking ability, but they are just trying to stall the wave out so they have a full wave to protect this inner turret with. It looks like Bacon Piggy is making his way. He's going to get spotted out by Ward. Maybe going to look for the 1v2. This is going to be difficult for him, though.
Yeah, the tower's gone down, and maybe that's going to change his mind. But actually, Rek'Sai leaves the fray as the Dragon is going to go down. And it's actually going to be a Mordekaiser Dragon, but Pug is going to be dropping, and that means the Dragon does too. And now, all over the map, Choke Gaming just seemed to be one step ahead of Paria.
Yeah, and that was... They basically ditched Pug in that Dragon team fight.
See ya.
He had the Dragon Ghost, and that's really powerful in these kind of situations. But it was just sort of like, I'm best support, and Nemesis were like, see ya, buddy. We're going to get... And actually, I'm best support flashed out again in the mid lane. Dongs is going to be the target in Nemesis, and he'll go down. Alchemist has absolutely no mana. Nemesis looking for the kick. He's going to be, just on the wrong side.
Oh, that was painful to watch. Nemesis using their flash, can't quite get the kill though. And now Hado jumping forward, can't quite connect. That Winter's Bite though, and Flash. Again, everyone seems to be trying to go aggressive here, but nobody quite able to do what they're intending. Cutie Bacon Piggy having to use that Living Shadow to get away, but it's going to be Flash. Jumps in as he gets stunned. The Ignite onto Hado, is it going to be enough? Yes, it is. Gets the kill. He trades one for one. The Lux Laser not going to land onto anyone.
No, it also clears a bit of minion wave though. Look, I'm best support is back here. He's been helping the entire game. I'm sure to great effect for the Paria lineup. This Katarina build is really struggling, and actually Dumbo has decided, actually I'm doing so well, I'm just going to go straight for Sterak's Gauge.
Yeah, and actually we're going to see Iver support, misses his hook, spams that Master emote, beautiful stuff coming out from him.
It's like full tilt gaming here from Paria. they're really struggling to make anything happen, and this Mordekaiser is still lacking his first item compared to Lucian finishing that Infinity Edge and his Zeal. It's not looking good for Paria Gaming at this point in time. They do have a really strong Zed, and maybe if they can capitalize on that, that'll be a real driving force.
Well, speaking of Zed, I'm not sure he's going to be much stronger anymore because he's going to be going down. Dongs picks that one up. There's the hook onto Hado once again, but I mean, Braum just cannot be the target that lands on every time. But now, Dumbo, he's been baited in. He's about to turn Meganar. Can he get the 2v1 here? Gets the speed up. He has the Sterak's Gauge. You're not wrong. If he can get the ultimate onto the 2, he does manage to get it onto Nemesis, but it doesn't even stun. And now Dumbo should be going down here. The Sonic Wave will be enough. There's the shutdown, but the tier 2 is in trouble.
Yeah, meanwhile, that tier 2 turret, the inner turret on the bottom lane will trade because a huge commit to Dumbo in that top lane, and it bought enough time to pick up another tower, and the gold lead is starting to balloon out of proportion here. It's going crazy for Choke Gaming. They've managed to extend that out to 7k, and this all-in composition really starting to struggle. They only have one threat, or two threats really. That's Lee Sin and that's Zed. Mordekaiser has next to no damage at this point in time. Katarina has only just finished her Triforce, and then, you know, you are still dealing with a Triforce Katarina.
You certainly are, and I'm best support. He might not be in the best of spots right now. He's going to be locked up and he's going to be going down. That one will be donated over to Nocturnal Plex. A nice, easy pickup here. This is one of the craziest games we've seen in a long time. More kills than there are minutes on the clock right now as Hado gets engaged upon. Once again, the Dragon Rage is going to knock him back, and they should be able to finish him. As I say that, though, he jumps to safety, and now Dongs is going in onto Cutie Bacon Piggy in this mid lane. He goes down as the teleport comes through from Dumbo. Fights all over the place right now, and Dumbo looking to chase this one through. He's searching for Meganar, and he's about to find it. Trying to get onto Pug. One last boomerang will finish him off, and he jumps on forward looking for the Meganar onto my best support, but he has to back away. Shield from the face of the mountain going to keep him alive.
That was Sterak's Gauge, actually. Face of the mountain, I don't think it's been completed yet. for the Hado. That's how powerful Derek Gage is. It is actually a fairly chunky
It looks the same.
It does look very similar, I will give you that. Oh,
the play coming out from Nocturnal Plex, but it's going to be Flash. Can he get the reset? No, the Hado survives. That Unbreakable, keeping him on the brink of death. Beautiful play.
That was sub 40 health there for the Hado. Very close to getting a reset. Not that the reset would have done much apart from the ability to escape for Flash, but oh, this AD Katarina 262 definitely had a tough time in both these games. In the meantime, Alchemist going toe-to-toe with Nemesis.
Yeah, I'm not sure that this is a fight he's going to be looking too great in. He's incredibly low, but Nemesis has found himself in a 1v3. That's going to be a kill over to Dumbo, who is 5-1-5 right now, but the death mark is going to come out from QT Baker Piggy. Can he finish off that little yodel? No, he can't. And QT Baker Piggy goes down. Dongs picks up his 9th kill of the game, but as they go into Dumbo, he turns into Meganar. The hook comes through. This yodel is being battered around everywhere, but this is one tanky dinosaur. Look at him go.
And now surrendered.
We actually see the surrender come through. I'm Best Support just going to stand there as the game is going to end. Massive play coming out from Choke Gaming. Choke Gaming alone had more kills than minutes on the clock. Absolutely insane play.
That was ridiculous. I'm going to be honest, that was basically a solo queue game there. That was an absolute romping by Choke Gaming right there. I know that's a
good word.
Good word. It was an absolute, barnstorm. They just kicked through this all-in composition, and everyone was playing like an individual player on the side of Paria. I'm Best Support was making some crazy roams, and as hilarious as they weren't really that effective. No. He kept pulling in the worst targets as well. M&M Flash, he just didn't have a great game on the AD Katarina again, with very low impact.
It was so close to being a beautiful fight in that bottom lane, but he just couldn't quite get those resets.
And another problem with the Mordekaiser pick is, again, if you have to have a lane where you have a duo lane, you make a use of that experience advantage that you have in a duo situation. You're looking for the all-ins. You're looking to just dominate